Alright guys, so we left off yesterday on uses of the preterite, and I told you that I wanted to go over more specific details for this. So let's review it really quickly before we do that. So using the preterite for, you use it for a series of past actions, an interrupted action, multiple or singular bound times, beginning and end action, and arrival and departure. Okay? So I'm going to do examples for each one of these. So series of past actions would be commas. So we would say something like fuimos, al parque, comimos, juntos, y escuchamos música. So what you're doing here is you have a series of actions, one after the other, right? So we know that they're completed. I'm just going to change the color. Okay. So an interrupted action is those words like de repente or cuando. And I'm going to go into cuando specifically later. Okay. De repente means suddenly. Cuando means when something happened, right? Like I was going to the store when my car crashed, right? So the interrupted action is the car crashing. Good. Multiple singular bound times. We should know this one because we have the key words up there, right? So that is una vez. We'll say la semana pasada. Fue al colegio. Next one is beginning and end action. So these are the verbs empezar and terminar. Okay. So if you see these, then you're going to be using the preterite. Empezar means to begin. Terminar means to end, to terminate. Arrival departures, a lot similar. Llegar and salir. Llegar is to arrive. Salir is to leave. Okay? So if you see those, then it's going to be in the preterite. Okay? So a lot of keywords. You got salir, llegar, terminar, empezar, de repente, semana pasada, right? And then if you see anything with commas, you're going to be thinking to yourself, is that a series of past actions? All right. So let's go up here. We're going to give the palabras claves for the imperfect. So the palabras claves for the imperfect, we have a menudo, which means often. Remember, all of these always trigger the imperfect. Okay, so if you see it, you just put the imperfect. Often, cada dia is every day. Cuando era niño, when I was younger. Siempre is always. De vez en cuando is once in a while. Mientras is during. Muchas veces is many times. And todos los días is every day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys go in here. So we have cada dia. Alright, so highlight the ones that you see are in the imperfect. Oops, forgot about this one last time. De vez en cuando, a menudo, mientras, cuando era niño, todos los días, siempre, de repente, and muchas veces, right? So now, when we're looking at these, we can conjugate them properly because we know that the blue is going to be the imperfect, and we know that the purple is going to be preterite. So, purple's preterite, ayer, so what would that be? Jugaba or jugué? Jugué, because it's preterite. Okay? Mi madre trabajaba, trabajó, preterite the imperfect, it's blue. Trabajaba, el año pasado, nadó. De vez en cuando, it's going to be comíamos because it's in the imperfect. Vistes, ellos hacía, while estudiaba, semana rompí, anteayer, fuiste, cuando era niño, era un profesor, repitió, todos los días jugaba, yo muchas veces iba, siempre mirabas, de repente caí. Oops, didn't get this one either. And then yo comí. Muy bien. Alright, so let's get our uses of the imperfect here. So, the uses of the imperfect. Alright, we have carpet. See the magic carpet? Yeah, it's super cool. So, trailblaze the man. So, the C is a characteristic. A is age. R is repeated or habitual action. P is past progressive. E is emotion. T is time. Okay? So, it could be characteristic, description, or weather. A characteristic of someone could be era muy guapa. She's really pretty, or she was really pretty. Age is pretty simple. We use age with tener, so tenía 12 años. So if you see this, and like an age, you're always going to be using the imperfect, repeat or habitual action. So like yo jugaba, football, americano, todos los fines de semana. Every weekend I used to play football. Cool. So past progressive, if you see ando or ando, use the imperfect. Okay? Like seriously, if you ever see that, then you're just going to use the imperfect. Emotion, if you see tener miedo or sentir, to be afraid or to feel. And then time, it's pretty simple. You use ser with time, obviously. So it's era la una por la mañana. Okay, so those are all examples of when you would be using the imperfect. Okay? Muy bien. Muy bien, muy bien. So, I talked about cuando earlier. In the preterite and the imperfect, can be used in the same sentence with the word cuando. For our context, there will always be one preterite and one imperfect. Okay? So there's two of these. My father called me when I was reading a book. Okay? What you have to do here is you have to identify what is the interrupter to the ongoing action. Okay? So my father called when I was reading my book. Ongoing interrupter. Right? So that's why this one is in what tense? The preterite. And this one right here is in the imperfect. Okay. I was driving when I hit another car. So what's the ongoing? I was driving. And this is the interrupter. Okay? So that's why you have this one being the preterite, and this one right here being the imperfect. Alright, so that's kind of what you're going to have to figure out here. Alright? So we have 6 examples with quando. So the first one, mi madre llegó. My mother arrived when I was playing basketball. So what's the interrupter and what is the ongoing action? This one is ongoing. This is interrupter. So, llegó, jugaba. And if you remember, llegar, key word for preterite. In Simba, it's the arrival departure. So, the next one, mis amigos y yo, we were walking when the coche nos dio, when the car hit us. Now we have ando. I told you if you ever see ando, which is in carpet, it is the present progressive. It's going to be the imperfect. So then you know this one is going to be, hitting you is going to be only one time. It's a completed action in the past. The next one, Julia was reading when the bird ate the potatoes. She was reading when the bird ate, right? You don't have a beginning and end time for Julia, but when you eat something, you're completing the action. They were listening to music when Julia gave a golpe en la puerta. They were listening when she gave it, or she hit the door. You were speaking when George cut the cord. I was watching a movie when we evacuated, right? So, we should always be doing this. We should be doing the steps to check. So remember, we have our palabras claves. We have Simba versus carpet. And then 3, we have the interrupted action. Cool. Alright, so the plan here, it's going to be, let's do 2 of these here on the Ed puzzle, and then I'll have you guys do the rest for homework. Okay? So we have Aaron las 12, right, because this is time. So number 2, there was many people in the street. There were many people in the street. Había. No beginning or end. las doce y media, Tommy CEO, blank entramos, entramos, en el restaurante Tarcoles. We entered. So if you enter, do you enter more than one time, or do you enter one time as it completed? Entramos. Muy bien. Alright, cool guys. So we should be getting more and more into this, and then tomorrow we're going to wrap up the Preterite versus the Imperfect and go from there. Alright, good job.